The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
I'm Keith Tebow from FRC Media. Thank you for joining us. Every Wednesday, we spend a few moments with the Mayor of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us again this week from his office on the 6th floor of Government Center. Mayor, how are you this week?
Doing great, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. We've had a stretch of cold weather here in Fall River, and your office, again, as it does when we have this cold stretch of weather or when there's storms, have opened up and worked with community organizations for some warming centers that are in effect through Friday morning. What have you seen out there over the past few days in terms of people taking advantage?
We had about 40 people last night in one of our overflow shelters. Actually, a prayer service at First Baptist that went all night. And then today we're at Christ the Rock. I didn't get a count from up there yet. But again, it's really, really cold. We don't want people out and about. So we met as a team yesterday afternoon with our FAST team and our homeless advocates to make sure we gave people the opportunity to get in and out of this weather because it's going to be biting for another couple of days. And it went very, very well last night. We'll be open again tonight, and then we'll shut down on Friday morning as the temperature starts to go up.
Yeah, I know that long range forecast has us back in the 40s next week, and 40s is something to celebrate, I guess, when you're homeless and there's right. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I know. Let me just ask you. I know the city's in the process of conducting its annual homeless count. Is there any update on when we'd hear some numbers there? Do you know?
No, I think we're going to end up over 100, but I'm not sure the final number. I mean, it's very, very difficult. People have to understand. Those snapshots are a lot of times, homeless camps, the car people that are living in their cars that we can find out, some people that might be in a trailer, and then you have a whole nother swath of people that are couch surfers. They bounce from place to place to place. It's very tough to get a handle on this. It's probably one of the toughest things I do every day in this job is trying to keep a handle on what's going on with our homeless population. It's just such a difficult test to try to make sure you keep people safe that in many cases don't want your help and refuse to come in. You're trying to make sure their medical issues are being attended to. Obviously, we have the Star Mobile van, which goes right down to some of our camps. But it is one heck of a lift. And if we can get people in out of this kind of weather, it's very, very positive. And as I said, we had at least 40 last night come in. So we knew 40 weren't going to be exposed to the elements last night. But it's a challenge every night.
I want to shift gears now to the Flint neighborhood area of the city. Your administration has worked with state and federal officials to get some money to work toward a plan for the Flint neighborhood, as well as some money for some physical improvements. There was some work recently completed on some storefronts along Pleasant Street. And now, as part of this effort, your office is organizing some nonprofit organizations to take advantage of some grant funds that will help benefit that neighborhood. How is that going to work?
Well, that's going to just be giving some money to people that have ideas on ways to improve the Flint, something they want to do to make it better. There's a whole range of them. It's not a lot of money as an individual. I'm trying to think the cap might be about $2,500, but we're doing a lot of small things up there also, whether it's painting some of the boxes or a crosswalk. So we're looking for other ideas and how we can get people to invest some money in the Flint to make it more livable. I think you'll be seeing shortly Secretary Howe from the Office of Economic Development is going to be taking a walk down Pleasant Street with us and probably with some of our local elected officials. I think Representative Fiola, Senator Rodrigues has kind of been the one pushing it, but we're going to go walking and see potential uses for the bond money that's also there. There's a lot of money in that. It's like $7 million but we are desperately, again, trying to get some, uh, reinvigorate the Flint. And I think you're going to see a lot of stuff happening down there shortly. Things are already happening, and we're going to try to keep the ball rolling. And those
Now, in
grants you
terms of
referred to, yeah, go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, I was going to say in terms of the mini grants, is that the money for that? Is that part of the state and federal money that the city's received?
Absolutely. It's another grant we received to try to, again, spur some development or some ideas, particularly in how to make the Flint more livable.
Yeah.
We're doing that little house on Thomas Street, and I know that doesn't seem like a big project to people, but that house was the eyesore of that entire street. When you go down Thomas Street, there's a lot of well-kept multi-families. There's a whole string of new single families, and that house was just one of those grinding eyesores that's in a neighborhood. And I'll be so glad when that's done and someone gets a nice little two-family to invest in up there. That's what we need. Some new money going into the Flint, some new families, and we can turn this around. It's just going to be a little work.
Yeah. And finally, this week, Governor Maura Healey, as she is working toward passing her state budget, has also filed another bill that may be of interest to Fall River as you and your city administration works on the fiscal 2026 city budget. It's called the Municipal Empowerment Act. It provides some flexibility for communities in a number of areas. Some things as simple as eliminating double poles that utilities may have on city streets. But there's some revenue possibilities for the city as well in terms of increasing its tax on motels, also its local meals tax, as well as an opportunity to build upon state excise tax. Have you taken a look at it? And it still needs to pass the legislature, of course, but have you taken a look at it and have any initial thoughts?
Right. That bill was rolled out last year and it didn't make it through. It's kind of the same thing. Like you said, the hotel tax goes up a little bit. I think it would be like $60,000-$70,000 for Fall River. The meals tax would be a substantial amount more, and the auto excise would also be something. The hotel tax I'm kind of interested in because that's particularly not residents of Fall River putting money into the hat for Fall River. The meals tax, I would have to look at that because again, that's kind of taxing a lot of Fall River people. We all go out to eat all over Fall River all the time, and the auto excise again is on Fall River. But these are working pieces that the state wants us to have at our disposal if there's a need for additional funds. I guess they're literally taking the taxing abilities and handing it back to the local communities so that if that's what we'd be so inclined to do, we could increase our revenue there.
Yeah. Again, as you just mentioned, even if this were to pass, it wouldn't necessarily take effect. It would have to be a local opt-in, and that would include city council approval as well.
Absolutely.
I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
we don't want to get people. We don't want to get people all enraged. Not yet, but just something that's on the table that communities could take part in. All right, Mayor, I appreciate your time as always. We'll talk again next week.
All right, Keith. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for joining us here in FRC Media. Have a great week.